Hello, this is David Austin with the BBC News. Health officials in China say medical facilities in rural areas are insufficiently equipped to stop the coronavirus outbreak that's killed more than 1,000 people. Our Asia-Pacific editor, Celia Hatton, reports on the situation in China.
The authorities overseeing China's national response to the virus admit that frontline medical workers in rural areas are ill-equipped. They said more must be done to ensure that village doctors have the face masks and medical supplies they need so they're not infected. China has poured money into its healthcare system in the past decade, but it's still patchy. 40% of China's 1.4 billion people live in the countryside, leading some to worry that the virus will continue to spread until all of China's health workers have the same access to supplies and resources.
The Director General of the World Health Organization said 99% of the cases of coronavirus infections were in China, but warned that the outbreak posed a very grave threat for the rest of the world. India's governing Hindu nationalist BJP is on course to suffer a humiliating defeat in a key assembly election in the capital, Delhi. Figures from the Election Commission show that the party of the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, is struggling to win even 10 seats in the 70-member assembly. The Liberal Aam Aadmi Party is comfortably ahead in more than 60 seats. Critics say the campaign was marred by a divisive and polarising campaign by some hardline BJP leaders. In Delhi's Shaheen Bagh area, protesters have been camped out for weeks, demanding that the BJP overturn a new citizenship law. Rajini Vaidyanathan is there.
There's a silent protest here today at Shaheen Bagh, but the ongoing presence here has given a voice to those who say that the BJP government citizenship law discriminates against Muslims. These protests became a focal point of the Delhi Assembly elections in a campaign which was communal and bitterly fought.
Syrian government forces are reported to be close to retaking the whole of the highway that links the country's four main cities. Government sources say a final section of the M5 highway that lies in what has been rebel-held territory in northwestern Syria could fall in the coming hours. Government forces, backed by Russia, have been mounting an offensive there for the past 2 months. The latest attempt to resolve the long-running dispute between Saudi Arabia and Qatar appears to have broken down. Informed sources say the talks between the two countries have failed, although there's been no formal acknowledgement of this so far. Gulf states, as well as Egypt, cut political, trade and transport links with Qatar almost 3 years ago. This is the World News from the BBC. Parliament in Lebanon has convened to hold a vote of confidence in the new government, despite efforts by protesters to prevent the session going ahead. Security forces fired tear gas and water cannon at hundreds of protesters in the centre of Beirut who were trying to block MPs from reaching the Parliament. The head of the European Commission has expressed surprise at the British Prime Minister's recent assertion that Britain would be ready to accept an Australia-style trading relationship with the European Union. Ursula von der Leyen stressed that the EU does not currently have a free trade agreement with Australia, but trades on WTO terms. She said if that was Britain's choice, the EU was fine with that. The founder of the Grammy-winning South African choral group Ladysmith Black Mambazo has died. Joseph Shabalala was 78. Nomsa Maseko reports.
Swing low, swing chair.
Joseph Shabalala played an unparalleled role in introducing the sound of traditional Zulu music to the world. The group he founded, Ladysmith Black Mambazo, found fans around the globe. They won 5 Grammy Awards and featured prominently on Paul Simon's multi-million-selling album Graceland. Mr. Shabalala's health deteriorated over the past few years, resulting in him retiring from Ladysmith Black Mambazo in 2014, shortly after performing at a memorial concert for Nelson Mandela.
The International Energy Agency says global emissions of carbon dioxide from energy production levelled in 2019 after 2 years of steady increase. The IEA said a significant drop occurred in advanced economies, notably the US, Japan and the European Union, where emissions fell by almost 5%. This was due to a switch from coal to natural gas and renewables. BBC News.